Hey everyone, welcome from the Depths. I'm Menti, and this is episode 20 of the Battleship Brawl Season 4. In this episode, we've got the Wapen by a Wilner going through its run as the active combatant. I did forget to mention last episode that it does actually have 2 losses, so if it loses, it will be eliminated from the tournament. Not eliminated, eliminated. And over here we have the Kaiserin class battlecruiser. By the Kaiserin Emperor, which we have seen fight once before, but only once. It's towards the bottom of where the list was reaching, so this is only its second battle. It can't be eliminated this time. But let's see if it kills the Wapen and get this battle underway. The Wapen is certainly a powerful ship, but its tendency to capsize is a major weakness. The Kaiserin can do enough damage to cause that to happen. You know, it can win, but it did look like it just took a direct hit to one of its guns on like the first volley from the Wapen. Kaiserin taking some more hits, some heavy volleys. But doing okay so far. It's at 98%. The Wapen's at 99% though, but that's because it has a pretty insane repair rate. If the Kaiserin wants to be able to capsize the Wapen though, it's got to land some hits on those guns and knock out its materials. Otherwise it'll just repair. Those look like they may be going for the guns. No, they're going to hit behind it a little bit in the superstructure. Doing some damage, but not to anything important or expensive. The Kaiserin is so far holding up okay. It's down to 95%. Looks like it has lost one of its frontal guns. It has been completely disabled. The other one is damaged, but both of the rear turrets are still firing away. Kaiserin taking some hits to the bow. Not minding that damage too much. Oh, it's actually got 3 turrets in the back, not just 2. So most of its firepower is still active. And the Wapen is actually down to 88%. Wow, it did some serious damage when I looked away. Or took some serious damage when I looked away. Did one of its guns get smashed? Ah, one of its turrets got completely popped off. That'll do it. Like, there's nothing left in there but the base. Everything else is gone. That will definitely take some blocks off. Will also eat the Wapen's materials. Oh, we've got some listings starting in the Wapen. Of course, if you do enough damage to the hull, if the repair bots are too busy repairing that to bother with the gun, that's also, you know, a pretty good situation. Let's go over here, check on the Kaiserin. It is currently winning with a 4.2%, well, 4% now, lead. All 3 of its rear turrets are still functional. It keeps taking hits toward the front side of the ship. And all the turrets up there are already destroyed, so just doing hull damage, which is, you know, important, but leaving 6 of the 10 guns on the vehicle active is a little bit dangerous for the Wapen. But then again, these guns, because of the list of the ship, it seems they're having a little bit of trouble elevating to get the range that they need to fire. Like, they, yeah, see, you can see them lower and back down. They don't oh! Oh! That gun just took a direct hit straight to the face. All that heavy armor did not protect it. You can see it actually, it looks like it blasted down in through the deck. And ripped out some insides down there. The Kaiserin is actually having some serious listing issues now. that is making its guns unable to elevate enough to fire, which is letting the Wapen use its repair rate to catch back up. This is a pretty close battle right now. The Kaiserin needs to recover somehow from this listing. Needs to get closer so it doesn't need to elevate as much, or maybe stop turning as hard, so maybe the listing will oh, and it looks like the frontal turret there was popped clean off. So it has been destroyed. It is not coming back. There are not enough materials to fix that. The Wapen has repaired itself back up to 89.3%, has retaken the lead. It has used a lot of materials. It's like, if these guns would just elevate enough to fire, they would have had the Wapen in serious trouble with that much damage. Because it tends to roll over when it gets that low. But now it's repaired most of that. It's probably spent a good chunk of its materials trying to rebuild this gun, or has it not? It's just starting to do it as soon as I got there. It's starting to do that, which is going to burn through the last of those materials in a hurry. If the Kaiserin would just fight back, there we go. Fire some shots, Kaiserin. And those were some heavily crammed shots. They probably blew a pretty sizable hole in the side of the Wapen there. Ooh, was that a turret hit? I think that was just a turret hit. It was. 2 of the 3 turrets on the back here are disabled now. Only this rearmost turret is even capable of firing, even capable of trying to fire, that is. I don't know if it actually has the elevation to do so right now. You'd think it would, now that it's not aiming over the side that's listing so heavily. But yeah, it was able to fire, but was not a very well aimed shot. Went into the superstructure, barely did anything. The Wapen is officially out of materials now, though, so any damage the Kaiserin manages to do will stick. And if it manages to make the Wapen roll, it could still potentially squeak out a victory, but the question is whether it can do enough damage to get out of draw territory with only a single active turret before time runs out. Yeah, because there was a couple of compartments pierced there, right at the water line. I don't know if that's low enough to cause flooding. Oh, that hole definitely is. And that probably just opened up all that space to flooding, but with the raking fire going right across the back of the Kaiserin, I wouldn't be surprised. Yep, that rear turret has taken a hit and lost a gun. This is not a good position for that turret to stay alive. It has a significant chance of taking a hit. Oh, that was awfully close. I don't think that single gun is going to have enough damage to bring the Wapen down by a good 20% it needs to win. Like even if the Wapen just ceased firing right now, I think the best the Kaiserin can hope for at this point is a draw. And even that's a little bit out of reach. I don't think it's going to happen. All that time it's spent without its guns firing is a serious issue. You've got one gun and you decide to fire through the unarmored bow, over penetrating and doing almost no damage. That gunner should be fired. Oof, that was awfully close to hitting this gun again. If it didn't, it may have just hit the deck, I'm not sure. It may have hit the gun and the gun just managed to, that one barrel just managed to survive, but not sure. Barrel reloaded, but it's not firing. It may be low on ammo, or possibly even out. And now, it's not even aiming. It didn't even take any hits. So either the AI controlling it has been destroyed, or the firing restrictions are set so that this gun can't aim at it. The Kaiserin's superstructure falls off. There's not a whole lot left of the ship. It's down to 70%. There's just over 2 minutes left remaining in the match. It looks like this round is going to go to the Wapen. And the Kaiserin had the Wapen on the ropes there for a minute. Was doing pretty well. But it stopped shooting. The lack of elevation on the guns really bit it hard in this match. Looks like the Kaiserin also managed to pick up some DQ time. I'm not sure when that happened. I don't know if it was for sinking or what, because the two ships haven't really been that far apart. It does manage to get a shot off which hit into the superstructure of the Wapen. Not doing a terribly large amount of damage, but again, even if the Wapen just rolled over and gave up at this point, I don't think the Kaiserin could do enough damage to even get a draw. It'd have to do like 24% of the Wapen's health in 45 seconds. Not impossible, but you would have to land probably direct hits on every single turret base to completely pop them off in order to do that kind of damage in that amount of time. Time. This round is over with a clear victory by 20% health almost for the Wapen. Yeah, that those guns not elevating and firing for all that time really did not do the Kaiserin any favors. Hard to find this. I guess I could just, unpause it, let them spawn in, then pause it again, and then I'd be able to find them more easily. But, that'd make too much sense and be too easy, so why would I do that? Anyway, let's go ahead, get this match started, see how round 2 goes. The Kaiserin did have some bad luck with its gun elevation and such there, but the Wapen also had some good luck in taking out, like, 3 of the 10 cannons, the 10 total cannons on the Kaiserin with the very first volley. Front guns there landing some hits on the Wapen and the Kaiserin, both ships aiming their first volleys well. Let's see how this one does. Looks like it's going to land about amidships. Oof, that turret. Yep. that turret got exploded. Yep, shell got in, an explosion got in there, got in through the deck, and ripped out some innards underneath there. Ooh, those shells are going right for that turret. Yep, that is a turret hit. That gun is disabled. Well, maybe that left barrel might still be functional. Let's go check on the Wapen and see how it's doing. Ooh, it has used a lot of materials. Look at that, it's down to 5,000 already. And the Kaiserin's keeping up in HP, has not lost as much. This gun looks like it may have taken a hit. That might be where all the materials went. Bringing that back online. Wapen taking some hits to superstructure and such. No real big deal. It has managed to get a lead because of its superior repair rate, but it is getting very low on materials. So that could very well change. Uh-oh, looks like the frontal guns on the Kaiserin have stopped aiming. It's the Wapen is no longer in their firing arc. It should be turning to the left to bring those back in, but yep, there it goes. It's turning left now. But it's still getting some shells underway. The Wapen is just about out of materials. Like, any damage at this point is basically going to stick, and yep, there it goes. It is out of materials, and it just barely doesn't have the 5% lead. We'll see if it can hang on long enough to take down the... Ooh, the Kaiserin just lost a lot of health. It must have taken a hit to a turret there. Oh yeah, both of the frontal turrets taking some big damage. This one's disabled. This one may have a single operating barrel. And the ship has started to list heavily again. Right in this same exact position as before. Which is not good for the Kaiserin, however you want to say it. But the Wapen does not do well with flooding, and with no materials to repair, it has put it in a very precarious position. It's a question of whether or not the Wapen can... Oh, those shells went in through the side. Managed to take out that turret. So I think the only barrels... Like, this one isn't even aiming anymore, so I think this one has been disabled. So I think only that barrel on that gun may still be functioning, and then this turret here is still functional. But with the heavy listing of the Kaiserin, it can't aim. It cannot elevate its guns enough to fire upon the enemy. It's just getting free shots right now. Oh, but the listing is evening out. And there we go. It got some shots off. But the loss of so much weaponry, again, we're in that situation where even if the Wapen flops over and gives up right now, it's questionable whether the Kaiserin will be able to do enough damage to pull off a win. Oh, it lost that one barrel that was questionable in functionality. Now it's just done. So the only gun it has left is this one, which currently cannot fire because of the listing. I think it has a lot to do with the Kaiserin's turning. So the Wapen is basically sitting in the perfect position right now because it's forcing the Kaiserin to continue to turn and continuing to list so that this gun can't even fire back. And it has now managed a 10% lead. And it's only a matter of time before this turret gets hit too. And once that happens, it's all over. Yep, there it is. And here comes some more. Yep, that's it. The Kaiserin doesn't have any functional weaponry left. Like, even if this thing started firing, like, what is that little, like, 300mm cram gonna do to a battleship, right? So there we are. That is a clear and, you know, obvious dominant victory by the Wapen here in round 2. So it wins this match, and we'll move on to face the Slapdash by a nickel in tomorrow's video. So make sure you guys check that out, as well as down in the description we've got the forum link, the Discord link, and my Patreon, as well as the Hall of Beauty votes for both of these ships. So make sure you check those out. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the battlefield.